As we said last time that we met here, day before yesterday, it's a dialogue, a conversation between two friends who want to talk over any problem, any issue they have. So, what would be the relevant and worthwhile question to ask, and out of that perhaps a right answer can come. What shall we talk about this morning?
Sir, most people believe in things like God, religion, astrology, numerology, and the like. They spend a lot of time, money, their material resources, believing that these things they will be amply rewarded for their efforts. How to save them?
Sir, in this existence, only at the point of death, all our accumulations come to an end. So, unless we understand death very deeply, any amount of effort on our part to end psychological memory would be absolutely futile.
Right.
And you have not.
Between time and awareness.
You have often urged people to be free of violence, but I really wonder what we could do if we are faced with a practical problem, like say somebody attacking you when you are defenseless. So shouldn't you have to retaliate with violence?
What is clear thinking?
What is?
Clear thinking. So that I can find lot of energy.
We discuss the relationship between time and awareness.
Can't hear, sir.
Could we discuss the relationship between time and awareness?
Time and awareness.
Science.
Time.
Time.
Time and awareness. The relation between
I
time
understood,
and
I understood, sir. What is the relationship between time and science? Awareness.
So, can we discuss the relationship between truth, actuality and reality?
Relationship between actuality and reality. Just a minute, sir.
It is pointed out that listening is the way of life. But the quality of listening or observation which you point out indicate a feeling that it is beyond the mind.
I have a problem, sir.
Thank goodness.
Meditation, as is generally understood, is taking some time apart from our daily activities and concentrating the mind on some form or some name or some idea. Well, sir, I have practiced it for years and I have found that it has had absolutely no effect on my life or curbing any of my evil tendencies. Well, sir, could we explore the possibility of making one's daily life, or entire waking life, including the time we spent on our activities, into one continuous form of meditation?
It's not the observation itself in itself is an instantaneous action. Can we discuss about it?
No,
the
sir.
very observation is instantaneous.
Yes. Now we've had so many questions, I'm quite lost.
Maybe this question could cover a lot of them. We seem to be interested in a religious life, but it seems that culture and tradition get in the way. And one wonders how we can live with culture and tradition, or can one live with culture and tradition?
Can one live a religious life in daily life without the tradition? Is that it?
And culture, yes.
Without tradition. I don't quite follow your question.
It seems that we're interested in a religious life, but we're not able to get anywhere because we're so involved with tradition and culture. And
Yeah.
how do we live with tradition and culture, or does that have any part in religious life?
Has tradition and culture any part in daily life, in any part in religious life? Do you want to discuss that? No?
That you have been talking about when there is be profound interest and care, thought won't interfere. Is that interest and attention free of thought, sir?
I can't hear.
When there is profound interest,
Would you please speak a little louder, sir?
I heard you telling when there is profound interest,
Profound
Interest.
thought won't interfere. Is that interest free of thought, sir?
free of
Thought.
Is this a problem to any of you of this? Just a minute, sir. There are so many questions. Perhaps if we could take the question, tradition, what place has tradition and culture in a religious life? Would you like to discuss that? Would that be worthwhile? I think perhaps if we could go into that question and answer deeply that inquiry, perhaps we could include all the other questions in it. May we do that? Yes, sir. What would you think is culture? No, not theoretically, actually, what does culture mean? The word culture means to grow, to cultivate, to develop, to expand, to flower, to be, and so on, to become. Have you had culture in that sense in your life? To grow, to develop the intellect, the mind, the heart, all the very, very subtle senses, and so on. That's part of culture. Not so that is what we mean by culture. Do we agree to that? To the meaning of that word? Would you agree to all that? No? Yes. Right. And what do you mean by tradition? Well, sir, tradition implies, doesn't it, values, beliefs, dogmas, rituals handed down from generation to generation, handed over from father to son to son to son. There is the tradition of the Upanishads, the Gita, handed down what the writer meant, and it has been handed down to this in this country or in various other countries, and that's what we call tradition. Is that right?
Tradition, I think, is a preservation of culture as well.
The preservation of culture as well, which means culture being values, beliefs, rituals, gods, concepts, principles, ideals, all that has been handed down, and you have marvelously preserved it. Is that it? As you cultivate a beautiful garden where flowers grow, there is shadow, sunlight, beauty, and you preserve that. And tradition means also to hand it down, concept, beliefs, and so on. And also please bear in mind that word means treason, betrayal. right? So what has tradition and culture to do with a religious life? Go on, sir.
Is it the religious life that's being betrayed?
What?
Is it the religious life that is being betrayed by tradition? You say tradition is treason. The meaning of tradition is treason. What is being betrayed?
What do you mean by betrayal? When you are functioning with a deep ingrained conditioned mind, right, as most people who are traditionalists, how can they betray? They are betraying the present. No? Are you interested in all this? Or is there a nice cool morning and we can sit quietly together under the trees? You understand my question, sirs? What has tradition and culture to do with a religious life? And what do we mean by a religious life? So we can expand it, shall we? Are you interested in all this? What do you consider is life? Your life. What is your life? Come on, sir. So let's, two friends talking over together. What do you mean by your life, my life? Sir, I'm asking a question, sir, if you would kindly listen to. What do you mean, we mean by a life?
A relationship with other people.
You say it's a relationship with another, intimate or not intimate, neighbor and so on. But what is that relationship? What is that life that you daily live? Come on, sir, what's your life? For God's sake.
Want something, sir?
Act of living in harmony
Oh,
and
sir,
understanding.
what is your daily life, actual, not theoretical?
Bundle of experience.
Huh?
Bundle of experience.
Is that bundle of experience your life?
Eating, sleeping, sir.
Huh? What?
Eating and sleeping, sir.
I haven't understood.
Eating and sleeping.
All right, eating,
And sleeping.
sleeping, and what else?
Expecting something from the other.
So what is your, look at your life, sir, for God's sake, talk factually, not theoretically.
And work.
Fight and conflict.
Most extraordinary generation.
It's a it is searching of a pleasure. Any kind of pleasure based on sensations, pleasant, unpleasant. That's what my
Yeah.
life
So
is.
your life, sir.
Yes, my life.
Your life is based on pleasure, pain. You haven't put it right. Twist it. You see? Okay. No. You can't. That won't hold it. That won't hold it. It'll come.
There, that will hold it.
You see how we are avoiding to face our life, our daily life, aren't you?
Continuity in time.
Sir, don't invent something. Your daily life, sir.
It's a compulsion to complete, to satisfy,
What?
to alleviate pain.
Sir?
Facing problems, sir.
What?
Facing problems.
Facing problems. What are those problems?
Changes.
Huh?
Changes.
Changes. That is, sleep, wake up, work, sex. What else? Don't you know your life?
Hatred.
Huh?
Hatred.
Hating,
Jealousy.
Come on, sir, your life.
Prophet.
Constant search.
And then in your field of work, you have problems.
So, is this your daily life, sir?
At the mundane level, it is subsistence, and at spiritual level, questioning ourselves, who am I and what is all this?
Sir, it is a constant search of a pleasure.
They don't, sir, I'm asking you, repeat the same thing, sir. Find out what the others say.
About my life based on pleasant sensations and
You've
avoiding
said that, sir. You've said pleasant sensations, avoiding pain, work, seeking something more and more, physical pain, and what else?
Searching the ego.
Huh?
Searching the ego.
And trying to
Competition.
I don't think you don't know your own life.
Following a routine in which I have already committed myself to, if you, that's my honest answer, sir.
It's not, I'm neither honest or dishonest. What is the actual fact?
Violence.
and going for a goal.
I give up. You are really the most extraordinary generation of people.
Experiencing something continuously, moment to moment.
What, sir?
Experiencing something from moment to moment continuously.
Are you doing that? You see, just incroyable, incredible. You don't know your own daily life.
Sir, it is expecting something out of the other. I'm expecting something from you now.
You are expecting something from me, you are expecting from another, dependence, attachment, pain, annoyance, anger, irritation, sorrow. You know all this, don't you? This is your daily life. Going from 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock to the office and coming back in the evening exhausted, and so on, so on. Is that your life? Going to the temple and doing some kind of noise with the bell and doing puja, doing yoga. Is that your life? Huh? Study, if you love books. Oh, yeah, please, is that your life? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Let's proceed.
I want to, how can I proceed?
We agree.
I do agree to this.
Yes.
Huh? I will ask the gentleman down there. Do you agree to this, sir?
Just one point, sir.
Yeah.
I submit that I am existing as a part of the whole, and I feel I am the whole myself.
Oh, good. That settles it. See, you don't.
So what is obvious doesn't need our acknowledgement, so let's proceed.
Right. That we say that is our life. Then, what do you mean by a religion? Religious life. You tell me, what is religion to you?
Morality.
Just a word, I think.
Morality, just a word.
Not to be angry, not to be envious, to be peaceful.
Huh?
Not to be envious. Not to be envious.
Sir, I said, what do you mean by religion?
Love.
The word. Sir, the word itself, what does religion mean to you? The word, not what it implies, the meaning, the significance of the word.
Praying.
Relationship with the divine.
Relationship with the divine. How do you know about the divine? You see, you're so incredible. The word religion comes from etymologically from various Latin, Greek, which meant originally to tie, to bind. Now they are denying that etymological meaning. They have given a new meaning to the word religion, which is, if you are interested in it, means to gather all your energy. That's all they mean. Do you understand, sir? To gather all your energy to inquire, to find. Right? Would you, not all the nonsense of temples, rituals, and all this either, sir. What you put on your head. You see how you all agree? Voyez? Would you agree to that? The meaning of the word. That means gathering every particle of energy that you have to inquire into what is truth and what is reality, to inquire into what is meditation, to inquire into why human beings live the way we are living, to inquire if there is an end to sorrow, to inquire into what is love, whether one can live without any effort, and control all that is implied in that word. So you're asking, you're putting the question whether tradition, culture can live is it possible for tradition, culture for a religious life? You understand now? I say tradition and culture has no place in religion. Right? Also? I don't follow. Sir, if you want to talk, answer the question, please say it loudly, kindly.
Question. And to have order, the means of culture, by using it, we arrive and go on exploring. This part of the culture, that's what I have come to my find. Which is right. Are we to use culture, use development? Somewhere we start.
Sir, religious life implies also having no authority.
No authority.
Sir, I'm saying something. Having no authority of any kind. No spiritual authority. Right?
Development.
You go on, sir. You go on and I will go on. It'll be all right, sir. Would you, a religious life implies being a light to yourself, which means no outside authority except law, policemen, taxes. That's a different matter. If you have to pay taxes, or if you want to deceive the government by not paying tax and so on. We are talking about having no spiritual authority, including me, the speaker. Have you any authority? Spiritual authority? Have you searched? Huh?
Place in the sense that we don't take it as an authority, but as a suggestion for us to experiment and see whether that method holds good to us.
Have you done it, sir?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, yes, sir.
Have you experimented and found what?
It's likely to be useful. Some method suggested by the,
Has it in your life?
for example, meditation
Have you found it in your life?
to some extent, to a little extent. I'm on the way.
When? So you're just asking some. You're not being serious, are you, sir?
Not as an authority, but as a suggestion for us to experiment.
You know, sir, what I mean by authority?
Blindly accept.
Huh?
To blindly authority.
Oh, not in the least, sir.
Authority implies blind acceptance.
Now, please kindly listen to what the other person has to say before you. Authority comes from the word author, one who originates something. You understand, sir? One who originates an idea, a concept, a belief, a statement of his own experience, and so on. He is the author, not merely the writer, but he is the author. And from that word, authority comes. Now, you have the Upanishads, the Gita, and various Bible and so on, Quran, and so on. They become your authority, have they? You see, you don't even. Have they in your life?
You seem to be author for new ideas.
Do you follow a guru? Huh? You don't. But do you? You see, you're so frightened to answer. You have had various Guru, Mr. Gandhi, and so on, all the way from the 6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd century, down to the present. And where are you, having been led for these thousands years? Where are you? Or you want to be still led?
No.
I'll give up.
We approach it in a different way since you're giving up, sir.
I can't, sir. You don't respond. You don't find out for yourself.
I think that in the beginning,
Vibhan?
that most people in the beginning do need some guide or guru or teacher.
There is no beginning and no end. You see,
As they are at the level where they do, Krishnaji. And then maybe through expansion and learning,
understand? At the beginning you need a guru. Later on you can throw him overboard.
it can be a book, a Bible.
Yes, madam, understood. First, I need somebody to help me to walk. I need mother, a father to cling to when I was a baby, to cling to their skirt, to their trousers, whatever it is. So when one is ignorant, inexperienced, not thinking, you need somebody to help you to think, to clear away your ignorance, and so on. So we say at that stage we need a guru, right? Later on we don't need it. Yes, you don't need it. Yes, madam, you don't need it. Are you in that position?
I would deny that there is some spiritual force connected with a person of elevated consciousness. That will benefit me in my spiritual life, and that I call it as Guru. When I read your lectures and notes, the house, I don't find the same meaning and the same spirit as I will be in your presence.
I am not your Guru, thank God, or anybody's Guru.
No, I will call it to you as non-Guru, sir, but that both is there still in your presence.
So you asked a question. Can tradition and culture exist or coexist with a religious life? And we said very carefully, tradition, apply itself, find out. Tradition means handing down certain authoritarian statements, certain values, rituals, principles, conclusions, and so on. That's what means tradition. And that word also means betrayal, treason. Culture means to develop, to grow, mind, your heart, to flower, to have beauty in your life. All that means culture. And a life which we live now, daily, is constant struggle, work, gathering money, having influence, having pain, suffering great deal, insensitive to everything about us, and only sensitive to our own little problems, and so on and on and on. That's what we call living. And religion, as it is explained, means gathering your whole energy to inquire into what is truth and what is reality. Now that's what. Now, do you want to go into all this?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Before we go into that, we have seen what religion is. We have seen what religion is. It is gathering our energy, all our energy to inquire. Now we have seen what tradition is. We have seen what culture is. Let us see what life is and then go ahead. Let us inquire into what life is, what living is.
Inquire, sir. Inquire what living is into your life.
Now, we haven't inquired into what living is. We have inquired into what culture is, what tradition is, what religion is, but not what life is.
Sir, I'm telling, what is your life?
My life is my life, that is all. What is life? That is what I am asking. What is life?
Life should be, how it
What
should
is
be.
living?
Are you asking what life should be?
Yes. What is life? What is life? Just as what we have said, religion is gathering all our energy, every bit of our energy to inquire.
You want to know what life is.
What living is.
Just a
what
minute,
life-
sir. I understand your question.
Yes.
You are want to know what life is, independent of our suffering, of our pain, of our anxieties, of our grabbing greed. You want to know what life is.
Exactly that.
How will you find out? You see, you're wondering.
You and I.
Huh?
You and I will find out now. What living is. Let us inquire. What life is. What religion is we have seen.
Sir, don't repeat, sir. I understand that.
Yes.
How will you find out what life is? If you remove all the coloring, all the attributes and all the rest of it, will you first remove it to find out? You want to know what life is, and we are saying you can only find what life is, which may be eternal, which may be nonsensical, which may be extraordinary, only when we understand our living, daily living, and from that daily living understand the beauty of a life. So, if you want to inquire into pure life, go ahead and do it.
Sir, religion has tried to deliver us from what we've just described, we might say, as the failure of life. Now, there has been some error that has been communicated since the dawn of time across all efforts. Can we attack that error? Because we must be reproducing it if we continue to suffer.
Look, sir, you say you start with error.
That is our tradition. That an error. What is that error?
Yes. Or also you can say, what is the original sin?
What's the original sin?
It's the same thing, we are back into some kind of... So, we have described what tradition is. Well, are you free of that tradition? Because otherwise you can't proceed to find out what religious life is. Because one must be free to climb great heights. If you want to go to the Everest, you must throw away all your burdens and carry very little. So we are asking you courteously, if you have thrown away your traditions.
Yes, sir, I have.
Traditions being nationality, your caste, your beliefs, your rituals, going to the temples, all that. Have you thrown it away?
No, sir.
No? No. Then how can you find out what a religious life is when you are blind? So you want to find out what a religious life is, and yet won't leave your little enclosure. Right? See your own tragedy, sirs. And you are slaves to certain things, and you say, I must find freedom. You won't let that go to find it. So what shall we do? Huh?
We are caught by the crocodile.
What?
Crocodile.
We are caught by the crocodile. We are caught by the crocodile, he said.
Crocodile?
Yes.
Like a donkey tied to a post, it can't go very far. You are tied to your tradition, and you want to inquire into something that demands a mind that is capable, a heart that can really love. Without that, freeing yourself from your tradition, your culture, your belief, how can you find out anything? You can repeat what the Gita said, or the Upanishads, or some other book. What value has it? I was told the other day, some of the gurus now give lectures or talks on Gita. Is that right? Yes. And there are hundreds and thousands go and listen to it. What value has it? What are we all playing at, sirs? Apparently, one doesn't see one's own tragedy. Right, sir? So, what shall we do? I can go on talking. I'll become another one of those people who read, who lecture on Gita. And you'll all sit down and shake your head and say, yes, marvelous.
Well, I think most of us know our own tragedies or understand the realities of them, but can't be bothered to do anything about them. Too lazy. They don't want to see the truth.
What I can't hear, sir, from the... We have somebody who hears. Will you tell me?
He says that most of us know our tragedy. We see it, but we're too lazy to do anything about it.
One sees the tragedy, the misery, the confusion, the uncertainty, and we are too lazy to clear it up. Is that it? Then please take some vitamins. Put some guts into you and wake up. It's not a problem, sir. If you want to do something, you do it. You wanted to come here and you woke up early and you took all the trouble to come here. You have enough energy to do something when you want to do. But we don't apparently want to do this.
Communicate the pictures. We communicate the pictures won't help us to know ourselves, our mind, working of our
Yes.
mind. I mean,
Would it not help us if we read the scriptures and other books to understand ourselves? Please, I'll answer that. Please listen. You've asked that question, sir. Please listen. To understand yourself, must you read somebody else to tell you about what you are? If you read what they tell you, what you are conforming to their idea of what you are, right? You understand what I'm saying? Huh? You haven't even listened. God sake, what kind of people are
Please
you?
go on, please.
Look, sir, if I tell you what you are, and you try to understand yourself according to what I have said, have you understood yourself? No, sir. Or are you imitating what I say, what you think you are? So can you stop reading about what you are and find out for yourself what you are? What you actually are. Isn't that much more simple? Much more practical?
Sir, even if we are to give up the reading books,
Wait, so I'm coming to that. Can you first realize, if I may suggest, that our minds have become so imitative, right? Do you realize that, sir? Conforming, obeying, so that we are never original, find out for ourselves. So can you put away what the psychologists have said, what your Gita has said, what other books have said? Say, look, I'm going to find out for myself. Won't you do that? No, you won't. Because if you follow others, you think that's the easiest way to solve life. And you have followed for millennia, and you are still where you are, right?
Sir, habit excludes creativity, and the brain and the mind are locked into patterns of habit. So we will not respond to the fresh, obviously. Now, we're speaking about dehabitualizing the mind, are we not?
Yes, I will show it to you. That means the word is not the thing, the description is not the described, the word tree is not the actual fact. So when I explain, it is an explanation, but not the actual thing that's happening. Right? First of all, forming habits, both physical as well as psychological habits, is a thoughtless repetition, right? Why do we form habits?
Escapism.
Huh?
Escapism.
No, sir.
In order to be safe.
Sir, please, just listen, sir. You're all so quick to answer something which is... I'm asking you if you'll kindly listen. Why does the brain, your brain, form habits?
And people learn for convenience sake.
That's right. It says for convenience, for comfort, for following daily certain routine, both physically and as well as mentally, psychologically. Why? Because the mind has found the habit convenient, it hasn't worked anew again, and so habit is formed, which means routine, a machine. The piston engine has a marvelous habit, right? You understand? It's a marvelous habit, the piston engine. So our minds have become piston engines. Repeat, 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 repeat. Because that way you think is the easiest and the most comfortable way of living. Right? So a habit is formed. Good habit, bad habit. Which is the brain refuses to think anew, to work fresh. Right? In this is obvious, isn't it? I'm describing. You do it actually, watch your own brains. So habits are formed, which is the tradition. Habit is a tradition. There's nothing holy or unholy about it. It's just tradition. And once caught in that, the brain refuses to let go. If it let go, it immediately forms another habit and pursues that. So one has to question why the brain operates this way. You understand all my...
Why does the brain refuse?
I'm going to... Have you followed up to now what I've said, sir? Forgive me asking a direct question. You see, you interrupt all the time, I lose. So we are saying, why does the brain form habits which is tradition, whether it's 10 days old or 10,000 years old, why does it do it? You understand? You have a leader of non-violence in this country. And he established certain principle or whatever you like. And then the brain says, all right, I will accept that and I will follow that. Which is tradition, which is habit. And you don't like to call it habit, you say you have principle, we are following a principle. So, I'm asking why the brain does this constantly. You relinquish this habit, pick up that habit, and then throw that away and a new habit. Why? Just think, sir, don't answer quickly. Inquire, go into yourself, look at your brain, and why does it do it? Doesn't it do it because the brain, listen quietly, the brain can only function in security. Because it's secure in a habit. It's secure in a tradition. It's secure in a belief. It's secure in an illusion. So the brain's demands at all times to be secure. Whether it is false, whether it's real, whether it's absurd, whether it is superstitious. It says, please, I can only operate where there is complete security. So it forms habits, thinking that will give it security. Right? You've understood this? No, not description, the actual fact. Then, is there such security? That is, forming a habit, living in it, breaking it up with a new habit, and then following it, breaking it up, another habit. That is the brain wanting security, but never investigating into the security it thinks it has in habits. Are you following me? No, sir, you're not. Otherwise, you wouldn't put on this thing, sir. That's a habit we have, the namam, you know. So I'm asking, we are saying there is a security not in habit. Right? I wonder if you understand this. I'm going to show it to you. When the brain sees that this habit forming is the most dangerous way of living, you understand what it does? You understand, sir? I don't think you do. It's the habit to call yourself a Hindu, right? And that habit is most dangerous because on your border there's the Muslim, right? On the other border is the communist, which is their habit and it is the other habit and your habit. So you've got three habits. And there will be constant wars. So when the brain realizes any formation of habit or the continuance of habit is the most dangerous way of living, which is when it comprehends the danger, the sequence of a habit, the very perception of it is intelligence. The brain then has this intelligence, which is total security. It is not habit, it's not tradition, it's not one habit after another, but the perception, the seeing, logically, sanely, the consequences of habits. And when it sees the consequences, it says, right, finished. I wonder if you understand this. Will you do it? That is not to be a Hindu or a Muslim or anything. You're a human being. From this human being has this extraordinary capacity to create an illusion, and in that illusion, like temples, like churches and all the rest of it, live in that illusion and say, I find security there. Right? And there is the other which says there is security in Islam. And so there is a battle. And it destroys itself. You follow all this? So will you, seeing this, throw away your illusions, throw away your habits, because you see the reason, the logical sequence of forming habits.
Sir?
Have you understood? Yes.
What you described, on the level you described, seems to me referring very much to the contents of illusion. But the mind itself is a form of habit. So in effect you're asking us, you are leading to the question of, can we throw away the psychological mind? Can you pursue that?
Yes. You are saying the mind is itself a habit.
The mind oriented towards
Yeah,
its
yeah.
safety, towards its security.
The mind itself orients towards a habit.
No, the mind oriented towards security, psychological security, is a habit.
Yes, that's when I used it. So you see, the mind, what do you mean by the word mind? We know what the word brain means, right? What is the mind? What's your mind, sir? Ask it, please, demand, challenge, what is your mind? You see, you don't even ask. You don't put your guts in to ask this question. What is your mind by which you live? Don't look at me, sirs. I'm not your mind.
Sir, it's a... May I respond, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. It's a modification, a formation of force, of the total force that you are into certain forms.
Are you saying, if I may interpret what you're saying, your mind are your senses, right? Your emotions, your sensory responses, your beliefs, your desire for security, the confusion, the sorrow, the misery, all that is your mind, which is your consciousness, is that. That is, your consciousness is the content. The content is sorrow, pain, and all the rest of it. Now, that's what we say is the totality of your mind. Out of this totality, you can invent a super consciousness, You can invent a final divine consciousness, Buddhi consciousness, and Krishna consciousness, and banana consciousness. You can invent anything you like. And the more superior, the more gullible you become. So we are saying, can you observe your consciousness? Are you aware of your own mind? Sorry, I've got a cramp. You don't have to bother about it. Are you aware of your own mind? Are you aware of your own reactions? It's 25 to 9, sir. So, you respond with one particular sense, don't you? You understand? Either the response, sexual response, which is a particular, or response to your taste, to your smell, to your touch. Please listen to this. That is, we generally operate along one particular sensory response, right? Tasting, smelling, hearing, touching. Now, can you respond all this together? You understand my question? Understand the question first. When you respond only with one particular sense, in that response there is division, breaking up. Right, sir? Now we are asking, can you respond wholly with all your senses? Have you ever tried it? Or is this something new? Something new? Huh?
Yes, sir.
You don't understand. You don't understand.
All the senses.
You haven't even understand the question first, sir. We have so far responded with one of the senses, right? We are saying, can you, is there a response with all the senses?
Sir, it seems to me you're leaving something out. The supra sense is the sense of I.
No. Sir, you have gone off.
Have I?
Yes, sir. Forgive me.
Please put me on.
Can you look at the sea with all your senses? The tasting, the smelling, the touching, the feeling, with all of that. When you do that, there is no center from which you are holistically responding. I wonder if you understood this.
We do that when we are playing with a child.
And that, we're off with the child. You don't even do it for yourself when you talk about the child. Have you ever tried this? Look at that tree, sir. Wait a minute. Look at that beautiful tree with all your senses. Touch it, smell it, taste it. You know, you can't, of course, but with the feeling of all that.
There is complete cessation of the past. Actually, there is only observation.
Oh, but
Actually, the moment. At the moment there is nothing. There's only observation.
Sir, the use of one sense is still conditioned by a central experience. You just said the center. So if you synthesize all of the senses, it will still be conditioned by that.
Have you tried it, sir?
I've tried it, but thought gets in the way.
You can't, sir. You can't try, do it. You will find out thought doesn't. You see, sir, you want to try something the other fellow is saying. Don't try what the other fellow is saying, but see what you are doing, that you are responding partially. Either hearing, seeing, tasting, touching, partially. I say don't respond partially, but respond totally with all your senses.
Sir, my difficulty is this. You are right, it works. However, I cannot conceptualize it in your terms.
No, I don't want. You see, you've introduced concept. That means you're.
But I have said that it works, sir.
When you make a concept, you're not listening. Have you given up your Gandhiism? Have you given up your principles, ideals, and concepts, which are all habits, right? Give one up easily. Try, see what happens.
Sir, if we give up concepts, when we talk there, we would just hear sounds and we would not understand what you mean.
What are you saying, sir?
When we have no concepts, what you talk would be just sounds for our ears and not
This
meaningful
is without
words.
concept. Your speaking would just be sounds. We would have no way of understanding what you're saying.
One has explained very carefully how concepts are formed, ideas are formed. The speaker makes a statement, and from that statement you draw a conclusion. You don't listen to the statement without conclusions. Just listen. That's one of our habits, which is you listen to something, instantly you form an idea, a conclusion. Now, break that habit, which means listen. Now, I'll make a statement, and please listen. Don't make an abstraction of it, an idea of it, or say, how am I to do it? Just listen. Which is, when sorrow ends completely, there is love. Don't draw a conclusion. Don't say, what do you mean by sorrow? What do you mean by ending? For all that. Just listen. And find out why you form a conclusion, which is a habit. So you have wandered away from the act of listening. The question was put, can a religious can tradition, culture coexist with a religious life? We went into that very carefully. We said culture, tradition cannot possibly exist in a with a religious mind. If one is to find out what is truly a religious life, one must abandon totally tradition, totally any form of culture as it is understood, which means a free mind, a mind that's not caught in Christianity, in Buddhism, in Hinduism, Islam, or in some other sect and guru. None of that. That means total freedom. And in that freedom there's tremendous energy. Because there is no conflict, no struggle, nothing.